And this video is titled, When You Set Yourself on Fire with an Angle Grinder. I think I'll go get my apron. And I'm wearing something that's nylon. I don't know what, maybe in the sweatshirt, but it stuck to my hand and burned a little bit. So anyway, I'm gonna go find my apron. Hello, welcome back to the Ichthyan Forge. Glad to have each of you here today. I'm about to start a new project. And in starting that new project, I need to talk about this. So I'm gonna lay it down on the anvil and I'm gonna give you a good look at it. Now, the first obvious thing about this is that it's been neglected. Since I made it, it's sat around and it's collected dust and rust and all kinds of stuff. But this knife was a milestone for me in that when I made it, it was the biggest knife I made at the time. Other things about it is that I did not know much about knife design. You'll notice that the handle sits pretty far down from the spine of the blade, so that could have been raised up. Also, I've got leather spacers here to take up gaps that I should have taken the time to get out. The handle is Purple Heart. Yeah, that's Purple Heart. I wanted to make sure I was right about that. But I really like the design of this blade, but I would like to run my edge bevels higher up. See, I did some file work on it at the time. This blade is made out of circular saw steel from a sawmill, and it's running right at, say, 3/16 of an inch, and that's the thickness of the saw steel. That's the thickness as I got it. As a matter of fact, I didn't do much forging here, just my edge bevels. But you know what? I think I can do better than this. Now that I've got some experience, I think I can do better. There are plenty of stories about this. I'll share them as we go along. This knife was an adventure in a good way, but I think I can do better. So anyway, let's see what I can do here. What if, as I sat and thought about this, just reforging the same blade, I could do that. But what if I took this piece of golf cart spring and 2 pieces of saw steel and did a San Mai construction out of it? Now, the golf cart spring is thicker than the blade here, so I'll need to thin it down. That'll be the first thing I have to do. But let's get some measurements on this one so we know what we're shooting for on the final. Overall, we're looking at 15.5 inches, which is going to be, since I already have metric right here with me, I can't get the tape measure to cooperate, around 39.5 centimeters. Y'all know that better than I do. I don't know. You know, honestly, I'm trying though, folks. Please help. So it's about 39.5 centimeters or something along those lines. We're looking at 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters, and at the widest point, blade length is going to be about 10 1/8 or so, close to 26 centimeters. So that's the parameters we're shooting for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut my material out, my 2 pieces of saw steel that I'm going to need, and we're going to get the spring thinned out to the same thickness as the saw steel and start welding stuff up. Now, I thought that I was recording and I missed it, but I've got the leaf spring clamped up here and I'm grinding off the paint. That, and yes, you could burn it off, but that would stink. So anyway, that's just what I'm doing now. I'm going to grind it off. I've got it ground off of this side. I'm going to flip it over, get the other side, and then the edges as well. And then we're going to fire up the forge and get moving. All right, well, we've got the leaf spring forged about where I want it. It's a little crusty. We got to wait for it to cool. While it's cooling, I'm going to take these pieces around to the 2x72 and clean them up and get them ready for the next step. Hopefully by that time the leaf spring will be cooled. I can cut it off at 7.5 inches, clean it up, probably with a wire brush first, wire wheel on the angle grinder, and then to the to the 2x72. We'll see how all that works. All right, so I got my 2 pieces of saw steel and my piece of 52, what is that? 5160 spring steel. Let's go with that. So we're gonna sandwich them together like that right there. We're gonna tack weld them together, and then we're gonna forge weld them. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe I'll start wearing a glove on the hammer hand when I'm welding. That hurt. It's funny because earlier today I made mention to another smith here on YouTube, about that very thing, how he wears a glove on his hammer hand. Maybe that's why. That hurts. Long enough, but it's not as thin as I need it, or at least this end isn't. I believe I've got it here though. So we're going to work on the opposite end and the tongs now and see what we got. Going to be a lot for a tang here, and I know that, but it's okay. That fire's hot on my back. Choking up, moving around on the hammer. I don't feel like I have control over it with this glove. There, that's better. I think everything else can be ground in on that tang. Okay, there really wasn't much to record there, but as I started to record, I realized I didn't have any room over there to put the camera because the forge is still hot. But you see the cut there, everything looks nice and homogeneous, so that's very good. Now, I don't have the greatest way here to draw this blade onto that blank, so let's let's try something here. Another thing I noticed about this blade, this one, is that I made it before I ever started putting my maker's mark on things. Alright, so now any sensible person would go in and grab a pair of scissors to cut this out. I, however, am not a sensible person. Besides, I don't know where scissors are at the moment. So let's see if I can do this with my knife. At least get it close. It's close. Sort of like a tear it along. Excuse me, tear it along the dotted lines thing. Let's make that belly a little bit there. All right, now I think maybe some contact cement will do the trick, don't you? So whoever cut that tip off could have done a better job. Oh, wait. Anyway, it's not going to be exactly like the other blade, but that's okay. There are some places here that could be cold shuts. I'm a little worried about them. One here, but we'll see how deep they go and might be able to grind them out. If not, this one failed, and if it failed, I know where it did. So anyway, let's get to grinding. I'm actually quite happy with the way the edge bevels came out on the grinder. Very happy with the way I was able to do that. I normally don't do very well on the grinder. In the previous video I said I'm not that good on it. But yeah, getting better. I am going to hand sand this some, partly because I don't have abrasives. I did have to widen the edge out a little more. I've ground it a little bit thinner there, but that threw a little more of a recurve in it, and I'm good with that. But I'm happy with my plunge lines. Just overall, very happy with this. I believe I'm gonna go ahead and mark this spine, and we're gonna put a vine pattern in it. What about that? All right. Well, overall, I'm happy with my lines that I have on here. I need to clean up some of my lines here, but that's okay. I'm gonna start with 200 grit paper. Or, I'm sorry, 220 grit paper, and we're just going to clean everything up. If I could do it with 220, great. I'd rather not go any further back. There's still some deep lines here. It might require more. I don't know, but we'll see. This is how we're comparing to the original. There are things about the original that I like. There's more of a swell here, but that came from hammering it, I'm sure. But there are plenty of things about the original I don't like as well. But we developed more of a belly because I got this thin in the grinding, and I had to grind it back a little bit to keep from cracking and heat treat. But we're okay, and I like the results. So anyway, I'm going to start doing some measurements, figure out where I want this line to be, and start sanding to that point. Okay, so the Sand My blade has a little bit of a kink to the left on it, so I've thrown it in the forge, brought it up to a critical temperature, and clamped it up in the vise in a straightening jig. Hopefully after that I'll be able to heat treat it and temper it, and we'll see how all that goes. Keep my face away from those fumes. Breathing that oil is no fun. Matter of fact, when I tested the tempering setup, I got the oil too hot and ran myself out of my forge. The only way I could be in here was with a respirator. All right, I think what I'm going to do now is put it in the straightening jig, make sure it stays kind of straight, and then we'll go to tempering. So here it is, heat treated, tempered out to about between 55 and 60 Rockwell hardness. I have etched this before I did all of this to it, and got a glimpse at the pattern, and I like it. I like it very much. But I've got an issue with my grinding. First, and I think it's causing some of my warping issue. They all seem to warp if you're looking from spine, from the tang to the tip. They warp this way. This one did it. And this one that's appearing in another video did the same thing. But I've straightened them, but they're still at the tip. It's ground more to the left hand side. Same thing on this blade, and you can really see it right in here. At least I can, looking down it. I hope you can as well. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to work on that tip and see what we can do with it. In the final grinding and everything, see if we can get all that prettied up and see how it looks. I can fight through the allergies here. I had another video planned to be released right now on the method for tempering my blades. I was trying out a different camera with that. I didn't get the autofocus to autofocus, so the entire video was out of focus. You're not going to see it. I hate it. So you're seeing this one instead. This was actually just going to be one video, but I think I'll break it into two parts. This part we're here now with the blade heat treated and tempered. Next video we'll go into straightening that tip out, as I mentioned, final grind, fittings, which will involve a little bit more forging, I believe, and we'll see how it comes out. So please follow along, and we're gonna, like I say, finish this out next video. Sorry for all the sniffing and everything. North Carolina allergies are trying to kill me. But so anyway, if you found any value in this video, please like it. And if you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. YouTube is doing a strange thing to a lot of content creators right now. I'm a small time guy. At the time that I'm recording this, I have 314 subscribers. I had 315. Now, I got stuck at 310 for a little bit. We'd get 311, 310, 311, 310. It's possible that that's just happening. It's possible that some of you don't like the content and you're unsubscribing. I get that. Okay, you know, I do the same thing. I can't blame you for doing the same thing I do. But what I'm finding comments from other content creators saying that they are having people who subscribe and then suddenly YouTube unsubscribes them. He contacted YouTube and they said, no, it's not us and you're the only one with the problem. He's not the only one with the problem. YouTube, don't unsubscribe my people. I'm sure they'll hear it. Anyway, please subscribe, share this with your friends, get the word out, and come in and watch the videos and share them, if you will. So anyway, that's my rant for the day. It's kind of discouraging when you're working hard to do this. But please like the video, share the video, subscribe, comment, and come again as we finish out this blade. Hopefully next video or very soon. I hate allergies. All right, anyway.